Right on. Well, hey, thanks everybody for coming. My name is Tony Gapistone, and I am the founder and the executive director of Bravemaker. And Bravemaker is a 501c3 nonprofit. We're headquartered in Redwood City, which is the San Francisco Bay Area. My background is I am an actor and filmmaker and screenwriter. And for the past 2.5 years, I have been curating film screenings and creating digital content, doing corporate production type stuff, but also writing and directing original narrative stuff, from short films to web series type stuff, and now trying to make feature films and create TV shows, which is a amazing lifelong kind of dream and endeavor of mine. But along the way, social media has become a huge part, obviously, of our culture and who we are. And so I have been learning a ton on my own about what it looks like to navigate the social media landscape. And I also have been doing some kind of research about how I could get better, what kind of tips and tricks are working. I don't aspire to be a Kardashian level influencer, but I do aspire, like I hope some of you, to change the world and make my audience engaged in the work that I'm doing, and also offer services and provide value for people. And ultimately, I do have products, literally I have products like t-shirts and stuff that I am selling, but my products are also the film work and the TV shows that I am doing. So that's a large part of who I am and what's happening in my space. You'll see Christina Jackson, who's my colleague and co-host with a lot of the online stuff that I do through Bravemaker. I will bring her on at some point in this space as well to interact and kind of dialogue, because this is my first official webinar I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get a little bit better. So you actually are helping me practice as I do this stuff. Christina, are you there?
I'm here. That's amazing.
Right on. So Christina is an actor and model influencer herself. She is the former Miss Wheelchair California, and she has all these amazing spaces that she holds. So she's also a social media magnet as well, and doing a lot of stuff on social media. So Christina, introduce yourself to our attendees so they know a little bit about you.
Well, thank you, Tony, for having me. This is fantastic. Yes, I'm Christina Jackson. I'm former Miss Wheelchair California 2018. I'm an actor, singer, writer. I'm in Tony's screenwriting class, trying to get my comic book to production. So I'm having a pretty good summer, and I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Christina. So everybody else, I see, so great to see people that I know, Tim and Sarah and Lydia and John and Gina and Francisco and Erica and Daquan and Comfort and Aya. It's really great to see you all. Please, in the chat, just say hi, share where you're watching from, share anything you want to share about your work and maybe what you hope to get out of this. So we will be here for about the next 55 minutes. And my hope is at some point too, at the end, if anybody might be interested, we can even pull up some of your social media and look at it and talk about it. And basically, maybe I could provide some tips, as well as Christina's partnership, to say, hi, and maybe give you some evaluation about what it looks like. Okay, cool. So let's go to kind of the beginning. What I'm hoping this to inspire for you all is, first of all, like, you will all get a document that, it's a 7-page document that is going to help walk you through what I'm talking about today. So just know that that's something you will all get as we finish, our time here today. And you will, I'm offering myself basically free for this time, because I want to give back and I want to be helpful. So good to see people from Daly City and Aya wanting to get something new to learn about social media. We have an Australian living in Spain. That's fantastic, with the PR company and clients. Fantastic. I love how people find us and how people get connected. So if you got the email from the Eventbrite registration, you might have seen that I was giving you some ideas of things you could do to prep for today. If you didn't get it, that's okay too. Do not worry. You will still be able to take something in our next 50 some minutes here that will be helpful. Newport Beach, hello, hello. Good to see you all. So my first thing in our social media landscape is I really believe that in order to be effective, as a let's just say as a person, okay, I'm going to use a lot of words interchangeably here today, and don't be put off or overwhelmed by sometimes how I might use the word influencer, and I don't think everybody feels like they need to be an influencer or even wants to be an influencer. Sometimes I use the word leader even, which I know for some people can be really scary. And I use creative and storytellers. I use those sometimes interchangeably because I think it's all sort of the same thing. You're all in some way. If you're here today, you want to be telling your story. You want to be sharing your point of view. Everybody has a point of view. You want to be sharing your merchandise, your film work, your creativity, whatever it is. You want to be leading and influencing people in some way. So for me, for Brave Maker, I started this endeavor about 2.5 years ago, and it started as a passion. It started as a need after I had been in a space for quite some time where I felt like I was hitting a ceiling. I wasn't being utilized with my giftedness. Maybe I didn't feel like my voice was being heard, and so I kind of had to pave my own way. I found myself yearning for a mentor, yearning for somebody to kind of wrap their arm around me and tell me what to do, but it didn't seem like I could find that. And so I had to, just YouTube, Google it. There's so many things we can learn. Obviously, you all know this online. So that's a lot of the stuff I'll share today. I'm not sharing as a proposed social media marketer. It's just really kind of what I've learned organically. And so you'll hopefully take something. My goal is in some way to inspire you to make some sort of change in your life, in your business, and your social media. My website is bravemaker.com. And our whole vision is that we believe stories have the power to change culture, that we can celebrate the beauty of diversity through stories and through film. And that really became sort of how I started to navigate my social media. Like that became how we branded ourselves and in the space that we find ourselves in. And I'm excited to talk about how this is the purpose. When you start your social media game as an influencer, you have to find your purpose. Why do you exist? Because your story is everything in this space. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm gonna start with today. Why do you exist? Why does your brand exist in the world? When someone says, hey, what gets you up in the morning? A great question. My friend Daquan Richard, who's watching right now, he does this thing called Motivation Monday, and he does these videos every Monday. Sort of his social media brand is telling stories about what motivates people. And he always asks people, what gets you up in the morning? And I recently got the privilege of being on his little show. And for me, I've been always inspired by a leader named Simon Sinek. He was in the prep work, if you got that email. He has a very well-known, TED Talk, and he's all over social media. He's branded himself very well in this space, an entrepreneurial space, about why are you here? Why? Why are you here? What is your mission and your vision and your values? Now, I know some people kind of go, well, I'm not a company. I'm just a person. I'm just an artist. I'm just a storyteller or a writer trying to get my book sold. But you are a company, really. You are a brand. And I used to rail against those words. I used to feel as if I didn't want to have that branding attached to me because it did feel so corporate. It's like, I'm not Nike, I'm not Apple, but at a very ground level, at a really simple and minimal level, we can learn from these companies that have a really strong mission and vision and value statement. This is going to be where we're going to start with your social media. And it's very high level, I know, but it's important. If you don't know what your purpose is as a person, if you don't have a thing you can go to in the film world, in the business world, the pitch. What is your pitch? We used to say the elevator pitch because you get into an elevator and you have just a few minutes. If someone says, what are you about? You only have till floor 7, sometimes to floor 2. So it's got to be very singular and specific. And so Simon Sinek has this great thing about figure out your why. We can always talk about the what and the how. And sometimes that's where people start. Like, what am I about? or what do I do? And then how do I do it? But if you start from why, that very core and that very center of your being, that's going to influence everything else that you do with your social media, with your life, with your time, what you say yes to and what you say no to. And again, I know this is very high level and could be very heady, but I think it's really important that we start there. So I'm going to show you a video that's basically, it's like a 7-minute summary of Simon Sinek's work from a company called Productivity Game. And this is also part of what we'll get there later. So I'm giving you a little teaser about when we have our social media work, we have to find ways to grow and engage our social media. One of the ways is by partnering with other people and other companies. So I'm giving some unpaid endorsement to Productivity Game. So let me pull up their video, and basically this video is about why we start with why. Okay, so I'm going to take just 1 second here to share my screen, and you're going to watch this video, and then we'll come back and we'll chat a little bit about it. So here we go.
I recently read Start With Why and Find Your Why by Simon Sinek. If you met Simon Sinek at a party and asked him what he does, he could say, I write books on leadership. Or he could say, everything I do is devoted to one idea, to inspire people to do what inspires them, so that together we can change the world for the better. I happen to write leadership books because that's a great way to inspire people. Feel the difference? When Sinek starts with why, with his mission, what he does feels more important. If you resonate with Sinek's why, you might be compelled to ask more about his books, maybe buy his books, and share his books with your friends. That's the power of starting with why. Great companies like Nike and Apple leverage the power of starting with why by starting their marketing campaigns and their sales experiences by telling you what they stand for, not what they're selling. In 2018, Nike released an ad with the face of quarterback and civil rights activist Colin Kaepernick and the caption, "Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything." No product, just Kaepernick's face and those words. The ad angered some people, and Nike's stock dipped the day after the ad was released. But over the next week, Nike's online sales jumped 25%. Nike made it clear what they believe and what they stand for, and those who believed what Nike believed went out and bought a whole bunch of Nike products. When you walk into an Apple store, you immediately get the sense that they stand for simplicity, beautiful design, and perfection. And that's not by accident. Apple wants you to resonate with what they believe and what they stand for before they tell you that their new iPad is $300 more than a similar tablet from another brand, because they know if you resonate with what Apple stands for, then you probably won't care if the iPad costs more than other products. Great businesses like Apple and Nike speak to your emotions first. They start with why, not what. Great leaders do the same. In 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't stand up in front of 250,000 people and tell them that he had a 10-step plan to end race segregation in the South. No, he told them that he had a dream. He said, "I dream of a world where little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers." Dr. King influenced people to join the civil rights movement because he led with an inspiring vision, not with instructions. He started with why, not what. Great businesses and great leaders know why they do what they do, and they make sure everyone else does too. Author Simon Sinek says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So why do you do what you do? If you can answer that question, you'll not only inspire more people to buy your products and join your cause, you'll inspire yourself to get out of bed in the morning and push through difficult tasks. As Nietzsche once said, he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. In the book Find Your Why, author Simon Sinek says discovering your why is like panning for gold in the river of the past. The gold is there, lost in the debris of the river, hidden by rushing water. Only when you take the time to pan for significant moments of the past, retrieving them nugget by nugget, will they turn into treasure. As you search through the river of your past, your goal is to fill the following why statement. My why is to blank so that blank. The first blank is how you want to help people, your contribution. The second blank is the impact you want that to have. The co-author of Find Your Why, David Mead, says his why is to propel people forward so that they can make their mark on the world. Simon Sinek's why is to inspire people to do what inspires them so that, together, we can change the world for the better. To help you find your why and fill in your why statement, try the following 2 exercises. First, the friend exercise. Author Simon Sinek found his why by asking a close friend, "Why do you consider me a good friend?" His friend started with typical friend responses, "Well, I can trust you," or "You're fun to be around." But Sinek pushed back and encouraged him to go a bit deeper by asking, "What is it that makes me a unique friend?" After a few uncomfortable moments, his friend said something that gave him goosebumps. He said, "When I talk to you, I feel inspired." When he heard that, he knew he was close to finding his why. He thought more about it and experimented with the wording until he came up with the statement, "My why is to inspire people to do what inspires them so that together we can change the world." Once Sinek could articulate his why, every decision in his life was simple and obvious. If something didn't contribute to his why, he didn't do it. In fact, he shut down a successful marketing business and started writing Start With Why soon after finding his why. Now, if the friend exercise doesn't work for you, you might want to try what I call the impactful people exercise. Create a list of people who have helped you become the person you are today. Was there a relative, maybe a grandma or a grandpa, who gave you the confidence to be yourself when everyone else thought you were weird? Was there a middle school teacher who changed the way you see the world and your role in it? Was there a sports coach who helped you set a higher standard for yourself? When you come up with a list of people who have played a pivotal role in helping you become the person you are today, share stories about the people who've impacted you with a partner. Your partner's role is to ask you specific questions about how those people impacted you. And notice when you come alive. The goal is to discover an impact that was so profound, so life-changing, that you feel it's your mission to have that impact on others. When I did this exercise, I told my partner about a story from high school, when I stuttered so badly during a class presentation that the teacher had to stop me halfway through. I felt pathetic, and whatever confidence I had vanished. But later that night, I saw an infomercial for Tony Robbins' Personal Power audio tapes. It looked cheesy, but I was desperate. I bought the audio tapes and listened to them on repeat. The more I listened to them, the more empowered I felt. It was his work that helped me see that I was capable of more than I thought. He taught me powerful mindsets and habits that ultimately helped me become the person I am today. After recalling the impact that Tony had on my life, I made it my mission to have a similar impact on other people's lives. That's why my why is to empower others so that they can do more than they thought was possible. After doing either exercise and filling in your why statement with words that inspire you and make you think, yes, this is me, this is who I am, let your why statement settle for a few days, like a cake needs to settle when you take it out of the oven. Then come back to it a few days later and see if it gives you the same level of inspiration. Repeat this process until you find your why. As Mark Twain once said, the 2 most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. That was the core message that I gathered from Find Your Why and Start With Why by Simon Sinek. I highly recommend you read both these books if you're searching for more meaning in your life and at work.
Thanks to Productivity Game for sharing that video with us. I was going to check the comments and see if anybody has any. Thanks for everyone saying, you're muted, you're muted. So Christina, let's respond. What stuck out to you as you just watched that video? And anybody else, please feel free to respond in the comments as well.
Well, the video was fantastic, really concise and straight to the point. And I actually put up that Nike image on my Instagram maybe about a week ago. It really resonated with me. And so I love to see how that impact is actually, like that works, start with why, what do you believe in? And it also helped me realize my why is not very clear on my Instagram or my social media. I have a lot of things going on, but I was rapidly, jotting down notes of how I can kind of the message that I'm sending so that people really understand why I do what I do.
No, that's really great. So yeah, so the purpose, right? This idea of my why is to blank so that I can blank. If anybody wants to take a stab at that in the comments, I would love for you to be able to do that. Please do. In early 2018, this was the final whiteboard of many, many whiteboards. And I love Post-it notes, by the way. I'm a huge Post-it note fan. I was led through this exercise to kind of go, why do I exist? And I started doing a bunch of things. It was actually very, very, very big. 2.5 years ago, I had created this board of directors, and I thought I was gonna, change the world and create a multimedia empire. And my board was like, how about you just start kind of small, right? Before you try to tackle everything, what's just one thing you can do? And so I really felt like, okay, art and film is what I want. Even the idea to create art and film was a little big, right? But this idea that film, my why is like, I believe film has the power to create hope and opportunities to change the world for the better. Like that's what my why is. That's my purpose. And in this document that you will get, and in your prep work, I also asked you if you could go make a list of 5 things that are important to you. If you do this list, then you look at it, really what you're doing is you're creating your value statements. These are what you value. For me, it's my family, it's my wife, my kids, and my dog. It's God, it's faith, it's spirituality, spiritual exploration, film, creativity, storytelling, honesty, authenticity, transparency, dialogue. I also put good, quick communication. I value these things. Interestingly enough, those values will express themselves through my social media. So weirdly, if you come into my social media space, you will find yourself hearing about my dog a lot. You will find yourself hearing about my family, but you also find yourself hearing about film and creativity. You're going to find yourself in this, in my social media world, hopefully being inspired with dialogue and transparency and honesty, right? My brand has become this. So when I think about my purpose, my mission and my vision and my values, all these things are going to funnel into how I express myself on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and all the spaces. So you will get this as a follow up here. I'm going to quickly check the things. I love the why statement. Francisco said, "Would you say the why statement needs to be specific to your work?" And yes, I would say specific to your work. And the same thing with goal setting, which we'll talk a little bit about, because you do want to set some goals, because that's going to be the next thing we're going to talk about is how you manage your social media. If your why is very specific, it will also help you set specific goals. It will also help your audience that you're building know what they can expect from you, because that's a big part of social media is expectations. What do people get when they come to your page? Right? What do people come to know about you? If it's all over the board, like for me, you're never going to find food. Not never. 90% of the time, I'm not posting about food. I love food. Occasionally I do, but you'll go to different channels and you'll see it's all about food because people, that's their space and that's their world that they live in, right? So make your why as specific as possible. Let me pull up one more time, on my whiteboard that's, quite old, and I probably should do this again. I've got my purpose, my values, my vision to run a premier production company, creating provocative culture impacting media and employing a diverse team that works it out. So that's my purpose, that's my value, that's my vision. And what gets me up in the morning isn't just like the fun of creativity and making movies. It's really believing that these movies, these stories have the power to change people's lives. Literally, it sounds kind of aspirational and optimistic, but I believe the power of stories can save lives. Can prevent people from taking their own life, can prevent people from wandering around the space that they live in with purposelessness, with discouragement, with not feeling alive. I want to help people feel alive. That's why I exist, and I'm really excited about that. Side note, as I'm doing this webinar, I am also live streaming right here on my Live It channel. So I've got people here who are saying, so hi, actor Nick, saying, love your vision. Thank you so much. I love you're also doing your own skits and making your own series. And we're going to get to this, like how you navigate multiple platforms and how you brand yourself. So purpose. That's the first thing you need to do is figure out what is your purpose, and then you're going to brand yourself across all of your platforms in this vein. And for simplicity's sake, your brand is really just your name, who you are. Side note, one of the things I was just learning in the past few months is how your audience comes to expect you and what they associate with your name, right? So if you are, on social media, on Facebook, and you're your name, but on Instagram, you're maybe your work, And on Twitter, you're maybe some catchy, like, Princess and Unicorn 73. That can be really confusing for your audience. You have to purpose yourself in a way that you're branded the same across all platforms. In fact, I would say consistent pictures, right? Whatever platform you're on, all the pictures be similar. So when people go to that page on Twitter, they go, oh, that's the same person who's, branded over here on Instagram. One of my clients is a singer and a performer. And she was, trying to be in that space as, I won't call it her name, but as a singer. So on her Twitter handle, it was like singer Jen, not her name, singer Jen, right? On Facebook, it was her name, Jen Jackson. Not true, but just for metaphor's sake. And then when she was putting out albums, she was going by a different name. And I just said, hey, small little thing you can do is brand yourself, get your name consistent everywhere. Otherwise, your audience is going to go, is this person the same as this person, the same as that person? And you want it to be really, really clear for your audience. Okay, so the next thing is once you figure out that purpose, it's managing it, right? And getting all of your ideas and your work into a strategy, being strategic about what you post. A lot of people think the more posts, the better, right? That's not necessarily the case. If you're just posting a lot of things everywhere with no connection back to your why, it'll get lost in the noise of social media. As we all know, there's tons and tons of noise out there. There's tons and tons of selfies. Not that I'm against selfies. I just posted a selfie today. I like selfies. On my Instagram, at least, I posted a selfie. But you need to understand that you have to have a strategy behind your content. Okay, again, the why. So as you manage what you put out there, one of the things that's important is knowing what every site comes to expect. So even though you're going to be on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram or whatever, some of you are on TikTok and Snapchat, all those things, LinkedIn, there's so many different platforms. You want to figure out, what do people come to expect on those platforms? And then what do they come to expect from you? Now, if you're just starting out, which I'm sure most of you are not just starting out, you all have a one or 75 social media platforms, but maybe you want to hone down on one of them and try to get really good at one, or just practice. By the way, I love that word practice a lot. That word practice is something I hope that we can do a lot more with. Practice our social media techniques, practice our art, practice our self expression. So you also give yourself some grace as you're seeing what works and what doesn't. As you're managing your social media, you can go, wow, this post just didn't seem to work. I know my audience on Facebook, I tend to see, I get a few engagements on some of the social justice things I put out there because it's scary. It's scary on Facebook to reply to social justice topics, but I still care about social justice topics. So I try to make sure I pepper those in there once a week with other things that are more fun and engaging for people. Because I could tell on Facebook, people want to have fun. There's a lot of toxicity, a lot of political nonsense. That's my point of view on social media, and people get really fed up with it. So I want to provide hope, right? I want to provide this value of creativity and transparency and storytelling. So I have discovered on Facebook, my audience really responds to fun questions. And let me give you an example. So part of my strategy on Facebook, and I will show you a sample schedule, Facebook or social media schedule in a second. In fact, I'll even provide a link for you all to have a template in which you can practice your own. And I'll go through kind of what that looks like for me in a second. But I will show you, it's just so interesting, the learning space on social media for me and what it's been like. I'm going to pull up my social media, and this is very vulnerable because I'm sharing my personal stuff, but this is how I learn. So let's see. Gina, I see you have a question. Touch on the difference between mission and vision. So yeah, I will get to that. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. So I just posted this like 3 days ago. On my social media schedule, I try to post a question at least once a week, if not two. And I just say, hey, since we're spending so much time inside, post a photo below of something in your home that makes you happy. Artwork, pets, and people. I got over 100 comments. It says 170 comments there, probably because I responded to all of those comments. But I could not believe, people just came out of the woodwork to want to respond to this post. Why? Because it's fun, it's surfacey. And in the Facebook world, people want that. They want a touch point. And for me, when I manage my social media, what I do is I also have an intention to go and respond to all of these people. To be quite frank, most of these people, I'd say about half, I've never met in real life. I usually on Facebook accept anybody and everybody because I want to connect. I want to impact. I want to provide value to people. Side note, one of the reasons I'm doing this social media webinar today is because I'm trying to provide a service. I'm trying to not only establish Bravemaker as a influencing leader in creativity and social media, but I'm trying to go, hey, I, Tony Gapastone, care about you, care about people, and I want to help you. I want to help you reach your goals and reach your dreams. So in this little silly post about posting something that makes you happy, a lot of people posted pets, which was super fun. Other people posting their kids, some people posting artwork, other people posting just like a nice room in their house that is very clean and simple or minimal that brought them life and happiness. And it was so fantastic to see this. So this is part of my strategy is I want to see people engaged. I want to see people feeling seen in their social media world. And that's become a part of how I manage my social media on different platforms. Now, on Instagram, some of you know that Instagram is a very visual medium. So on Instagram, although I post social justice issues occasionally, I try to keep it very visual, obviously. I don't on social media, Instagram stories, try to post a lot of text. I try to keep my text for Facebook. Twitter is a different beast animal. LinkedIn, same thing. All of these, you got to figure out which one works for you. Do some research on, and you're not going to get a lot of algorithm talk from me, maybe just a little algorithm talk, because that's not where I live. I live more in the story space, and I drive my content in that way in regards to story. I'm going to quickly stop share and look at the service is joy. Yes, Christina. Okay, so touch quickly on mission and vision. Yes, in simple, descriptions, I would say your mission is what you do every day. Like my mission is to create content that impacts culture. My vision is what I aspire to be, as things that I am not yet doing, but that I am creating goals in order to reach. So my vision is around creating a social or a production company. That's my vision. But the mission is what I do on a day-to-day basis. It's how I determine what I say yes to, what I say no to. So I hope that helps. In a really simple way, that's kind of how I would define it. Let me show you just a quick social media schedule. And I'm going to make a blank template available for all of you. Do I hold to this thing every single day? No. I have been doing Bravemaker social media by myself for quite some time. I have one other person to shout out to Jessica, who's been also posting our podcast quotes on a semi-regular basis. I have Daquan Richard, who, when we had our live events, another guy named Neil would do some social media stories for us. So I am building a team of people because I have a company and an organization, and I have a little bit of resource to do that now. But I haven't had that for quite some time. Excuse me. I've been doing that on my own. So I started this to just give me some direction, because the word manage, right? I need to figure out a way to manage my social media. Otherwise, I'm just haphazardly posting things whenever. And that's okay for some time. But if you want to get serious about your social media and be strategic and grow your audience and give people something to expect, you got to look at like your week and go, okay, do you have to post every day? No. You'll see in the sheet that I'll give you that posting every day is not necessary. It's helpful. That's why I have this calendar here, but at least 3 times a week. And some people go, I feel stuck. I don't know where to start. Well, just again, look at your mission. Why do you exist? What's your why? And then start creating things like, every week, right? On Tuesday, a focus of the day, spelled wrong. Love that. Celebrate your partners. On Monday, on Sunday, promote upcoming events. For Bravemaker, we are constantly having weekly online discussions. We are weekly having filmmakers share their stuff. So obviously, I need to be communicating that. Like social media has to be a place where people get information, but I always try to make it story driven, right? Let's see if I have this next slide. No, I'll wait. one of the things that's interesting on social media is it really becomes this kind of competition. Like, look at me, see me, this is who I am. And so, in order to cut through all that noise, it's got to be something that gives people a hook and a connection. So, don't just put a bunch of content out there for content's sake, make it personal. Tell a story as you are posting things, and make people feel like what you are putting out there is going to affect their life, is going to make their life better. So again, I will share a social media template with you all via a Google Drive link, and you are welcome to email me at any time with any type of questions that I can help you with. I'm going to put my email in the chat, and I'm also going to check um, the chat for questions and stuff. Is there a chart that shows trends and times that are best to post for different platforms? Yes, Francisco, there is. And Google that stuff. I had somebody who was working with me with Google Ads for some time. I do have somebody who works at Facebook who gives me credit. So people ask all the time. I don't do a lot of this talk here in my social media webinar, but I will point it out. In order to grow your social media platform, you do have to invest not only your time and your resources, but you do have to invest some money. It does take some money. I offered this thing for free for you, but you can take classes on social media algorithms. You can hire a social media manager. I have worked with 2 different companies that helped me grow my social media. I paid them a monthly fee. One I paid $100, one I paid $300. I'll talk about that, what it looks like on Instagram, but it's not necessary, but it helps. It helps. I think you do have to invest time and resources and space and creativity, and it helps to invest money. It really, really does. It depends on what your end goal eventually is. So let's talk about that. The next step, grow your social media. And actually, let me pull in Christina, my friend and awesome co-host and colleague. Let's see Christina, if Christina has anything to say. Stand by, Christina, while I pull in you. And let's see here. If there's any questions, please, please, please post in social or in the chat. And again, remember, I am available through Tony at bravemaker.com at any time if you want to email me or need some help. I also do coaching, private coaching for actors and filmmakers and social media to get your websites and stuff up and running. Christina, any comments as we're talking about the managing your social media section?
Yeah, I'm super intrigued. You said that you did reach out and you invested some money in getting your social media following up. So what exactly did they help you do? Like, what should you be looking for when you're ready to sink some of your hard-earned cash into a company that's going to help you take your social media to the next level?
Yeah, good question. So I used this company called Trusy, Trusy Social, and they are not paying me to promote them. I'm not working with them anymore, to be transparent. I worked with one other company, and I'm forgetting their name. Social media influencers, super basic, could have been called that. But one of them, basically, I gave them all my passwords and stuff, which was super vulnerable and scary. And they began doing some of the stuff I'm going to teach you right now in this next section about how to grow. They began doing some of the stuff that now I'm doing myself. So I'm going to give you some of the free things that you can do on your own if you have the time. But one of those things is as you start to grow your social media platform is you have to make connections. You can't just sit around and say like, hey, look at me, follow me. I got great stuff. Check it out. You cannot be doing that. You've got to be engaging with people and also commenting and liking on other people's stuff. So, Kim Kardashian and whoever else, and I'm sorry, I like the Kardashians. No shade whatsoever. By the way, I had one time where I was like being super judgy and judgmental, and I had this conviction in my soul, like, no, they are doing good work too. Do say whatever you want about them and their whatever, but they're human beings. I don't want to trash anybody unless you're making political decisions that impact people's human and civil rights. So growing your social media, and in these companies, what they were doing for me is they were working like they were me, right? So again, when you get to a certain place, like these influencers, they have people who are on their stuff for them. They have people who are speaking in their voice. And that's what I had for some time. Somebody who was commenting on other people's stuff, people who were liking other people's posts and on my behalf. And people go, oh, and then they started to follow me. One strategy I did not like from one of the companies, it wasn't Truzy, it was another company, again, I can't remember their name, is they do what's called a follow drop. And I don't recommend this, but people will just start like hellaciously following other people's Instagrams and Twitters and whatever, and they get people to follow them back. And then they go back a month later and drop everybody.
Mm.
So that is a tactic. You know, Francisco asked about algorithms and stuff like that. You got to do your research and figure out what tactics work. There are certain times to post, right? I guess I'd say pre-pandemic, people were talking about posting between the 12 and 3 hours because across the states that was like lunch hours for people, or 8 and 12, whatever it was. You know, when people are on their phone scrolling before work, after work. That's why things like Hootsuite, scheduling, you got to look into that. I don't do a lot of talking about this in this webinar because I do a lot of my stuff myself now, is figuring out how to schedule your post. There are publishing tools. You know, Facebook has it for free. You can publish things if you have your own brand page or fan page so that you're not having to wait and post it at 5 p.m. or whenever it is. So that's some of the stuff, Christina, is that some companies will help you do.
That's great. So engagement and pay attention to what time you're posting, what you're posting. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. All right. So thanks, Christina. Feel free, anybody. So would you please email me the legitimate websites for growing your social media? Yes, I would happily do that, Comfort. Thank you for asking. All right. So let's go into our third and final section, which is talking about growing your social media. Okay. This is probably one of my favorite things to talk about, is because you can do this and it's really fun, and it feels just honestly really human. Like, I am a social person in general. I'm extroverted, but introverts, this is a perfect time for you because introverts love relationships too. You just love them deeply and in small ways. I like relationships that are lots and, you know, not always deep sometimes. I mean, I like deep relationships, don't judge me. But this is a time for all of us to just start making connections, especially because we're not seeing a lot of people live these days because of coronavirus. And I would recommend a few books. Brendan Kane is a huge social media influencer. Some of the stuff I talk about, I probably have stolen from him. He's got a very detailed book about all of the social media platforms called 1 Million Followers. Go follow him. Just search him up, Brendan Kane. I had his book. I don't know what happened to it. It was on my desk. A couple other books I would recommend are Soar by T.D. Jakes. Great book about figuring out your vision. And this book, honestly, I credit this. I read it in January of 2018, and it gave me the inspiration to take a leap from my job and safety of 20 years and insurance to become a freelance artist and entrepreneur. And then also this book by Michael Hyatt called How to Get Platform, like How to Get Noticed in a Noisy World. I'll email these resources to you as well. Quickly, as you grow your social media, this is what Brendan says, is you got to be really aware of like what you're putting out there, your text, what's your ideas that you're putting out there? Are you using a lot of image and videos? Yes, you should. Is your personality your personality? You know, what are you about? What's your thing? Is it about acting? Is it about creativity? Is it about knitting? Is it about writing? Are you a vlogger? What's the service and product you're putting out into the world? And make sure it hooks people. Again, are you bringing value? Yes, you are. I would advocate and I would encourage you that you have value. Who you are a human being designed to add to the world. You have something to offer. Even though there's 7 billion people on this planet, every one of us brings something to the world. That's why you need to figure out what your why is, because no one can do it like you. So Brendan talks about like grabbing people's attention, not clickbait, but in a way that helps hook them. And that means you have to craft your titles and your phrases and your images in a really strategic way. This is how you're going to grow your social media. Get this out of your vocabulary. Check this out. There's so many better ways to grab people's attention than saying, check this out, because we see this. If you scroll on people's social media, everybody uses check this out. Instead of saying, check this out, I made a new video, or check this out, you know, a new website I developed, or check this out, I'm working on a new project. It's like, this new project is about face care. This new project will change the way you eat. Help people understand how it's going to give their life some meaning, and use your words really specifically in that way. Another way to grow your social media is to follow the people that you love and engage with them. Okay. Here's a Instagram profile that I love called Attention White People. I'm really wanting to make partners, right? Part of my why is I want to create social change and social justice. First of all, I love the way their page looks. I love their colors. I love their font. I love what they're putting out there. They're recommending movies. They're putting quotes. They're helping people become anti-racist. What does your profile do? And why do people want to follow you? So learn from other people. And one of the things that you can be doing, like I said earlier, on your own and for free, is start thanking people for what they're putting out in the world. Start commenting on people's profiles. Start tagging other friends in other people's profiles that you are benefiting from. Why is this important? Why will this grow your social media? And again, it's not trying to be manipulative. It's trying to be real and human, because like we all need to link hands together in this time, especially. I have made so many connections on social media with people who have literally advanced my career. I am in a 1 day a week writing group, a screenwriting group, with a guy in Florida and a woman in St. Louis, and we are writing a TV show together. I'm getting paid to do this because I was involved in screenwriting groups online. I would comment on people's stuff. I would share my screenwriting, learnings. I would share some of the pages I've written, some of the films I've written and produced and directed. And the guy saw it and he said, "Hey, could I see some more of your work? I'm actually putting together a room and I'm looking to pay people by the hour." It's not a ton, but it's something. I've gotten a job, and it all came through social media. Now, people ask me, and sometimes it's embarrassing, or maybe I used to be embarrassed to say this: how much time do you spend on social media, Tony? And I'm probably spending 2 to 3 hours a day. Like right now, again, I am live streaming on Live It. So hello to all my Live It audience over here. What is Live It? Look it up, figure it out. uh, I it's my work. It has become my work. Does it get burdensome at times? Of course. Does it get frustrating and embarrassing? And does negative things happen because of it? Sure. You have to learn to focus that stuff out. But growing your social media means interacting and engaging. That's why I respond to every single comment I can on my social media. And I make it a point and I schedule time to do that. So when you get your PDF from me, here are some things you're going to have to help you follow up, some ideas. Engage, elevate, partner, hashtag, mailing list, tell stories. We all love to talk about ourselves. I've said this before, but why not get other people talking? Why not ask questions, as I did on Facebook, to get other people engaged? Why not, instead of always talking about yourself, promote and elevate somebody else? This is one of the great practices of somebody who's business oriented, is who's in your same space. You should be following them. I don't want to use the word should. How about could? You could be following people in this same space doing your work. You might even reach out to somebody and say, "Hey, how can we partner?" Or "I would like to elevate your yoga studio or your water bottle company." I have been reaching out to Hydro Flask, because I love Hydro Flask, and promoting their water bottles because they're so great and durable. It literally makes me want to drink more water having a Hydro Flask. So I promote their stuff for free. And yes, do I have a desire to eventually have a partnership or a sponsorship from them? Sure. I'm not trying to be shady about it, but elevating other people, like whatever your company is, whatever you do, can you find somebody else to partner? Like my age old thing is, if you have a yoga studio, it would be great for you to partner with somebody who sells yoga mats or aromatherapy. If you're a chiropractor, it would be great for you to partner with somebody who does massage oils or whatever is in that space that is adjacent. What's adjacent to you? Try to find partners and elevate them out. Promote them free because you want to, because it just makes good business sense to do it. Hashtags, hashtag the heck out of your profile. Did you know that mostly in Instagram you can use, I think it's 30 hashtags, at least last time I checked. You can use hashtags as a way also to follow and grow your social media platform. Like for me, obviously I have my own hashtag Bravemaker, but I have hashtag production, filmmaking, actor, director, screenwriter, and I will always click on those hashtags. And I don't mean to be so simplistic that you're like, we know about hashtags, Tony, but are you using them strategically to grow your platform? Click on those hashtags and start seeing what other people are posting in the space and what's working and what's not. What's getting a lot of likes and what's not. And then start commenting and liking other people in that hashtag space and saying, hey, I'm doing the same thing, or hey, I like your page, or hey, thanks for what you posted. It really helped me. I will show you quickly on my own profile, my Instagram profile. I'm going to look and see if there's any. I love that. Start with gratitude. Yes, Christina. Okay, okay, I'm going to look at, I'm going to show you my Instagram profile. Again, vulnerable. But I'll show you one of the things that I have loved that has become kind of a fun little personal thing for me that I really enjoy is my hashtag. So I always post about books because my platform is about filmmaking and creativity and that type of thing. And I will so often have people say, hey, what books do you recommend I read? And instead of having to like answer all these questions all the time, I'll always just tell people, oh, go to hashtag Tony G Books. Here's me providing a value. So somebody clicks on my hashtag and I have 40 different books that they could read. Probably 80% of them are all about filmmaking. And I'm starting to put in other things about social justice and race and things that I'm learning, spirituality. But all of these books are helping me not only provide value to the world, but also helps me document. It's like archiving the books I've read. I love that. Okay. So hashtag the heck out of your profile. Okay. Now be careful, don't overdo it. They can get really annoying. Find what works for you, but it really has helped me grow my platform. And like I've literally gained friends. Sounds so fun and crazy to say this, but I've gained friends by using my hashtags. Okay. Elevate others. I think I said that. Find ways to make other people look good on social media. And here's one of the things that has been super consequential in positive ways for my platform and for my company is have a call to action. You've probably heard this phrase before, but it's a simple thing, like and subscribe, right? You want people to do something when they come to your page, not just look at it, but follow up. Are you selling something? Then you want them to get buy your merchandise. Do you have a mailing list because you send out a weekly email to encourage people about how you see the world? Get them to subscribe to it. Obviously, YouTube is famous for this. Like and subscribe, to my YouTube channel. That's how they got sponsors. People who are going to sponsor your work potentially are going to look at what your social media following looks like. That is kind of the world that we live in today, is that sometimes people even get jobs by how influential they are. I know it's not what we all want to hear. I've had many conversations with people in my space who cast certain actors, for good or for bad, based on their social media influence, because we have to be strategic about our partnerships, right? So one of the things that, if you go to my page, I have a Patreon. And so that's right there in my profile. Become a patron. Click on my website, become a patron, and support my work. By the way, I didn't talk about much about this, but if you are on Instagram and you use stories, have your highlights and create them, make them look visually appealing. That'll just make your profiles look like something somebody wants to support. Look at how I use hashtags in my profile, okay, in my Instagram profile. Okay, so people can click on those hashtags and see the archive history. For Brave Maker, for our film festival, look, I've got subscribe for free films. It's what I want people to do. And that actually becomes our mailing list. So anybody who subscribes, go to bravemaker.com/buzz, will then get our weekly, bi-weekly email so they can know all the things that are coming up. And we have about 1,300 subscribers now. It's really, really beautiful. So practice, all right? Practice and see what works. I love that word practice because you're going to fail. Things aren't going to work right. If you want to practice around with boosting posts, again, I don't talk a ton about this, but the word boost is available on not the word, but you can look up, how do I boost my post on Facebook? How do I boost my post on Instagram? I've done a lot of boosting. I spend about $100 to $200 a month boosting certain events when we were doing live events, especially. I haven't been boosting very much now. Does it work? I get a lot of likes and follows. I don't see a lot of engagement from them. Are they bots? I don't know. But I've definitely practiced with it and I've seen some growth in my subscribers and stuff like that. Okay, so here's my stuff. I'm going to pull Christina back and then we'll look at some of your profiles if you want to answer questions. But I'm at Tony Gapistone. Follow at bravemaker.org. I would really appreciate if you would promote what we're all about, because one of the reasons why I did this is I wanted to give back, and hopefully you can also give back to Bravemaker. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. If you in any way want to give back, it's all tax deductible. So I'm going to pull Christina back into the chat here, and then if anybody has any questions, we have about 5 more minutes. I would love to basically chat. If anybody wants to ask a question about your personal media, like I could even look at your social media and go, here's what I might say if you were willing to be that vulnerable. I'm happy to consult really quick for free if that's something of interest. So stand by as Miss Christina Jackson joins. Christina, as you're joining back in, I would love you to share any comments. And if anybody has any questions or wants to hyperlink your social media, I would click on it and share screen if you want and give you some free social media tips. But Christina, any comments about the past section?
Yeah, well, I'd love to be super vulnerable and jump on my Instagram and get some feedback from you. Other than that, like, this has been really fantastic. Like, I have some really amazing notes. Just right now, I feel like the key takeaway for me is going to be genuine engagement. Get on there and really start. So my background is right now, I'm working on a comic book, but I have not got on Instagram and started looking at other comic book writers and artists and things like that. So I've got a ton of notes here. I'm super excited to really get engaged with other people who are doing what I'm doing. So that's phenomenal. What else do I have on here? And then the gratitude thing. I usually, you and I co-host a show. I usually try to thank our guests after, and do a follow-up. So I love what you said about, using your social media to be grateful. And I'm really just thinking about my why. Like, what is my why? I'm an advocate for sure. I'm extremely passionate about advocating for the disability community. I do have quadriplegia. For the LGBTQ community, I identify as queer. I'm very passionate about those things, but I don't feel like that is reading well on my Instagram. So what advice could you give me just looking at it?
It's great. First of all, I love Christina so much. And Fonz, I see people commenting, other people who are commenting. I will go a little bit longer if you'd like, and we can look at some social media. So stand by. I will quickly click on some URLs. I love Christina so much. Become one of my favorite people. Excellent partnership. So fun. Brings such life to everything she does. So Christina, that's an affirmation to you. So I remember earlier on, we talked about this whole branding thing too, because Christina is former Miss Wheelchair California 2018, and that used to be her handle in these different places. And I said, you need to use that as a secondary part of your story, but really put your Christina Ray Jackson name forward. And so that's a really positive thing, is getting your name out there. I love you have the disability advocate, you have your LGBTQ activism on there, actor, singer, public speaker, designer. I would say you could throw some hashtags in here. Right? It would be even great for you to consider your own. What's Christina Jackson's hashtag? Like for me, I have Tony G Books. I also do Tony's 2 cents. And that's been over like my whole course of my life, right? I have a family hashtag, and it's just really fun to be able to do something that's specific to me. You put your email in there, which is pretty great too. Oh, I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but I just started learning about Linktree. That'll be the next webinar I talk about. Linktree, look it up, is a way to have a hyperlink URL in your social media platforms that links multiple things from one platform. So ChristinaJackson.com is great, but give people like, click here, why? Why do they want to click at Christina Jackson, right? What's going to be what they discover at that page? So find more resources for disability activism, or give them some value to click on that. More value. Your highlights, I would suggest make them pop a little bit more. So create something. By the way, I didn't talk about a free resource called Canva. Canva.com is one of my go-to things. Adobe Spark. Yep, you could create images and icons so they pop a little bit more. Like for instance, highlights. I'm looking at that. I can't really tell what it is off the bat, but that could be a little bit more striking and iconic. I think you have such a colorful Instagram page. I mean, I don't have very many comments about what you post. I think they're great. Obviously, she's a Brave Maker partner and ambassador, and she's using hashtags, Trans Lives Matters, Black Lives Matters. I think you're doing fantastic in there. And she often tags me in stuff that then gives me impetus to reshare the things that they. So you're working it on that really well, really well.
All right, awesome. Awesome.
All right, let's pull up. Let's see who we have. We have Fonz, who's asking for some feedback. So Fonz, thank you. Such a good name. Fonz, we're going to pull up Fonz. I know him as an actor in the Bay Area who just moved to, I'm not even following you, Fonz. What is up with that? So Fonz, I'm going to follow you right now. Christina, you can see Fonz's work, Fonz's page?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome. Okay, so we have a lot of hot pictures of Fonz. What's up, Fonz? Okay, so Fonz, you are branding yourself Body Works in Fitness. Okay, Body Works in Fitness. He's a fitness coach. Body Works in Fitness. September is the 21-day challenge, 8-week transformation, bodyworksinfitness.com. Okay, cool. So off the bat, we know what Fonz is doing. This whole Instagram page is about getting fit, looking good, looking hot. If I do want to look like you, Fonz, so I need to figure out what I need to do. So I want to click that bodywork shot. My first comment would be, I know Fonz in another world with acting, and so this is just, my other comment is, will you have an acting page too? Because you should have a Fonz actor page if you want to continue to work that platform too. You don't want to cross promote that kind of thing. You want to make sure that it's really not confusing, because sometimes when people are spinning multiple plates, I might feel a little bit like, oh, this person's too scattered. I don't really want to follow them. But this page I want to follow because I want to get fit. All right. So 8-week transformation, is that free? Maybe put something down. Is it low cost? So it makes me want to click a little bit more what I'm going to get when I go to Bodyworks Fitness. I love the icons. You could also make your highlights, just edit, go to your stories, go to your highlights and click them so they're all branded in a really similar way. I recommend you all find a palette, like a color palette that you can use too, and a font, so that if you go to Brave Makers, we have a very specific pink, orange, blue, black type of color palette, and we always use the Montserrat font over all of our stuff. And so that gives the feeling of consistency. When you go into a Pete's or a Starbucks in New York, you're going to get the same drink as if you go into it in LA, because that's a brand quality what they do. So see if you can do the same thing for that on you. Let's see if I click on this, if he's got any hashtags. No hashtags. So that was the things. Get some hashtags going. You should be hashtagging fitness, hashtagging body, hashtagging workout. That's only going to work in your favor, and you're going to start growing some more followers in that space, Fonz. Thanks for sharing. And now I feel like I need to skip lunch. So thanks for that. Okay. Daquan has an interview. See you. All right. We'll do one more. I'm going to look at comfort. So stand by. Will be our last one that we'll do for the day. Thank you so much, everybody. I know we went a little bit long, but it's worth it to try and give people some encouragement. Share screen. Let's see here. We have a beautiful page here. Nice. Okay. Kindness is the light of life. We have some flags.
I love it.
Yep. We have at Che Beauty Pro. Okay. So I wonder, okay, what is that? So she's a writer and creator director. I might put that at the top, comfort, so that instantly I know that this is who you are and this is what you do, so that I'm not kind of trying to be confused on what this is. You have a really long website here. That would be something I would pass over because it just looks too complicated. So look into linktree.com or get a URL that's really smaller and simple. You're a beautiful woman here, so I see a lot of beautiful pictures of yourself. Let's see, have some hashtags in your profile. Let's see if you've got any hashtags in your things here. We have hashtag food for thought, hashtag swipe left. Okay, cool. She's got a lot of hashtags. I really love. Can you see Christina that I'm pulling up one of her postings?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you see all the Instagram or all the hashtags she has at the bottom?
I do, yeah.
Okay, cool. One thing to all of you watching, one thing I love that I do too is these periods to give space. Because imagine if all these hashtags are really close to the post. Yeah, if it's too close to the copy, it could be confusing. So great job. I am Sister Comfort on that. So yeah, I think you've got a great start. I'm gonna follow you too, and thank you for finding us on Bravemaker. And that's it for the webinar today. If you have any other comments or questions, again, I am Tony at bravemaker.com. You can also find Christina. She is Christina at bravemaker.com. I'll put her website or her email in here, Christina at bravemaker.com. And hey, happy to connect with you all. If you liked what you saw, please, please, please go and share our pages and share our work.
Mm-hmm.
And I have Lydia, who I see you posted something in and let me just do it right now because why not? She volunteers as tribute to get some tips. She's an actress, scriptwriter, and telling diverse stories, super important to her. So I'm going to quickly pull open your Instagram as the last thing because you did in the private message. So let's do that real quick. Last thing. Don't go away, everybody. You're all amazing. Let's see what we can do on this last one here.
Hey, Tony, while you pull that up, I just want to say if everyone could send out well wishes and love to Jacob Blake. His mother, Julia Jackson, is a huge player, and she just is asking that everyone is wishing him a speedy recovery.
Black Lives Matter, peoples. We need to do work. Yes, we need to do work. Lydia, already I'm in. You can tell your icons and your highlights are on point.
I love it.
We know you're an actor and script writer. Now, so Lydia, where are you from? Because script writer, at least in the States, we usually say screenwriter. So I'm wondering if you are from abroad or Europe or somewhere. You've got some flags going on, and I can't see which countries those are. So maybe that is cool because you have this international flair, and script writer could be something that is communicated in different parts of the world. That's cool too. Let's see what she's saying in the chat. She's from the States, but she's a playwright. Got you. Cool. Well, I'd say you have it. But just give us a call to action. Why should people go to your website? Why should people click below? So put an arrow, put some click here for what's the value that I'm going to bring. I will follow you back as well, Lydia. And let's see if she's got some hashtags. Got a great smile. I hope you're booking a lot of work because I can tell you've got a great look. And so, yeah, I don't see any hashtags. So proof you can take good pics at home. Great. So part of your brand is DIY. I like that. Okay. But give us some hashtags. Hashtag actor, hashtag whatever else, you're trying to brand yourself in. Those are just some real simple things. And let's see if we can go to your website and check out. Last thing I'll say is if you go to my website, bravemaker.com, can you see her website, Christina? Is it popping up?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. If you go to our website, bravemaker.com, it will immediately pop up within 5 seconds, subscribe. So same thing on your websites, everybody. Give a call to action immediately. So here I see bio, contact, reel, resume. That's great. Great picture. Whoever took that headshot, pretty great. We see you're an actor, writer, creator. I love it. But give people the call to action on your web pages as well. Okay, cool. That's it, everybody. You can follow up with us by email, and I will send you all my 7-page document on how to take your stuff to the next level. Been encouraging. Christina, my friend, I think I see you later on another webinar.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, if anybody wants to take our screenwriting class, go to bravemaker.com/classes. We do screenwriting classes once a month. They're really great, fun. I want to get people making their movies. Lydia, if you need a screenwriting class, follow us. All right, everybody. Peace. Brave stories change the world.
And you're the story.
All right, everybody. See ya.